Yo, it's JSF, and I want to talk about characters for a second. I want to talk about determining what makes a character really good, really bad, what makes a character great, what makes a character top tier, what makes a character broken, what makes a character trash, low tier, whatever you want to say, right? And I think it's important to understand because me, as someone who always says Frost is the worst character in the game, I don't want to just rehash saying, hey, she's bad because of this, she's bad because of that. I want to talk about what I'm looking at, right? Because there's different criteria for what makes a character good in this game, what makes a character bad. There's the obvious stuff that you can see, that everybody can see. Like, hey, does this character have big normals? Does this character do a lot of damage? Does this character have good crushing blows? Like, the obvious things we all see, right? That's very, very obvious. But I think characters are much more than that. And I think why I have such a different opinion a lot of the time is because I look at it a different way. And I kind of have a different perspective on it. Like, basically, if I were to describe characters just based on, stuff like that, what you think, what we perceive to be good, right? What the community thinks is good in a character. We would all be surprised, like, oh wait, that's that character, right? Like if I were to say, hey, there's a character who doesn't really have long range normals, like from round start they really can't hit you with anything. If they dash up a little bit, and maybe they'll hit you, maybe they won't, but it's just off one string. They don't really have long range buttons. They don't really get great damage. The combo damage for one bar is going to be like 25% or less, kind of no matter what, unless it's like a crushing blow or something. Yeah, what if if I described a character like that, right? What kind of character would you be thinking of? Does that sound like a really, really strong character? Like, you know what I mean? To say the character's best moves are their abilities. They don't even have a real launcher. Like, this character probably sounds trash, right? But that character is actually Liu Kang. Yeah. It's like when you key in on certain things, like, oh, you need this to be good, blah, 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 blah. But when you think about it, Liu Kang's buttons are not that great, right? His buttons he doesn't have the Joker reach, right? He doesn't have the Spawn reach. He doesn't have the Scarlet reach. He doesn't have the Rain reach. Like, he doesn't have that long range that a lot of characters like Cabal have, right? Where you get outspaced, right? Doesn't really have that, right? He doesn't do a lot of damage. He just doesn't. He has a charge up power up move where he can do more damage, but even then his combo damage isn't amazing. That's not the strength of the character. But he's been top tier for a very long time, probably the entire game, and he's super powerful, right? Now another example. If I were to say there's a character with a fast, 10 frame mid string that's safe, hit confirmable, launches into a full combo, has a launcher in their base loadout, has a reversal special move, so like if you do something that's safe, they can fly at you and punish you. This character has like a 15 frame move that can hit you from like round start, that can counter hit you, KB you, has another long range normal that's barely minus on block so they can mash after or force you to mash after. You know what I mean? Throw, crush, and blow. Character sounds crazy, right? Has a good fireball. Character sounds crazy, right? Sounds like a very powerful character, right? Character that's really top tier. That character is Rain, right? And this is not a character that's perceived to be top tier by anybody. You know what I mean? He's a good character. I think he's a tweak or two away from being top tier. I think if they gave his back 2 more range, he would be top tier. He has everything else he needs. But if you explain him that way, like, oh, he has a good jab string that can enter an overhead, or a high that's cancelable, so he can low key shimmy you. He's got a good mid string. Like, if you just explain what the character has on paper, sometimes they seem better than what they really are. So I look at a lot of different things, right? So I want to look at 2 top tier characters, and I'm going to random select until I get top tiers and just kind of show off something. GERAS is top tier. SHAO KAHN is not top tier. Jax I perceive to be top tier. So 2 things that top tier characters typically can do, and they might vary a little bit every now and then, but 2 things that top tier characters typically have is a really good jab string, right? And I'll even have him flawless block in case y'all don't know. There ain't no flawless block gap there. Last hit's an overhead. He's got a low special, right? 4 frame difference. They don't hit on the same frame. It's technically fuzzyable, but difficult to do consistently online. So he gets some degree of he gets a real mix-up off of this, right? Right. Not to mention, he can jail into his jab string really well. You block this. If you block this body splash, which everybody's gonna block, you have to hold that. Once you hold that, he can grab you, right? Strike throw mix as well, right? You know, stagger. 4-2 is minus 13. This is minus 11, but oh, this is not. I don't even have the right move in this variation, no. Yeah, here we go. So I actually have the command grab as well, right? You know, this is a real tick throw. Like 4-2, his 11 frame mid into mid command grab is very, very real, right? So it's kind of becomes like, it's similar to a stagger because he can go into this or just go into that, right? And there's no gap in that. Completely -7, completely safe. You know, he can do that, right? If you want, right? Or go into that. Like, you gotta guess off his fastest mid string. Off his 11 frame mid string, he's making you guess, right? This is like some Raiden level shit. -3. I'm sure it can be less. Yeah, it can be +1 on block. Depending on how you space this, it can mash after. Like, that's also a stagger. You know, he's got this button as well. Hit -1, like as you just saw, right? His mids are very, very staggerable, right? He can mash down 3 after this or down 4 after this. Very, very good. Down 4 in the sand trap. You know what I mean? He can get that going. His jab string is mad good. His mid strings are good. The stagger game is there, right? Let's look at Jax, right? You don't hear much about Jax's jab string. Second hit comes out in 10 frames. That's faster than a lot of characters. Faster than the majority, just not faster than Liu Kang. He does have an 8 frame jab, but does have a 7 frame down one that has a, you know, a second attack after it. It's very strange, but that's a Jax only thing. This is +1, right? Why being +1 is such a big deal is he has a 9 frame mid, which is coming out in 8 frames now, right? He can go for the last hit, which is completely safe, -2, and an overhead, but obviously there is a gap, right? The gap is still makes it -2, but the point is it's there. It's there, right? I did not mean to do that. It's there, right? This is still a good stagger string. This is still a good stagger string because these two kicks is -4. That, right? Doing that and doing, I'm not doing it right. It's not that different online, right? The difference between that and a grab, if I can actually time it right, it's not that different. Or a down 1, right? You can pester with different options off this string. I wouldn't do that, but I'm just giving an example, right? Hell, you can even do a ground pound. Is it a good idea? No, it's a shit ton of startup, but I'm just saying. You can even do just the first kick, right? -11, but it's kind of like how Fujin can stagger when he's -15. Is it a real stagger? No, but you know, you can do this, right? This string is really good at all different points. Same with this string. 4-2, 12 frame mid, -4. Right? This one's even better. This one's even better. The difference between this, like, you really cannot. Like, you really cannot, bro. This is the string. The difference between that and that, good luck, bro. There's a degree of stagger that's just mix. There's a degree of jab string that's like either auto shimmy or the jab string is a stagger. This is something that basically every top tier character in this game has. So it's like they got a powerful jab string, they can stagger it, they can shimmy off of it. You know, it gets their game to where they want it to be, at least a plus frame, something like that. And then their mids are really good for staggering, really good for pressuring, really good for pestering. It makes it hard for your opponent to know when it's their turn, when they should take their turn back, when they can, right? And this is more higher level shit. Like, see something like this, and at a low level where people are just mashing, you don't really see why this is so powerful. But when people will respect certain things, but you keep doing this, or this, you know what I mean? Or this into this, You know what I mean? Then it becomes shit, man. When do I take my turn back? And it becomes a whole mind game. It's really, really powerful, and it's something that low tier characters don't have. It's something that like a character like Frost just doesn't have. But again, if you go back to the select screen, if you look at the top tier characters, right? Pretty much they can all do this. Liu Kang can do this, Cabal can do this, Jackie can do this, Cetrion can do this, Fujin can do this. Like if you look at all the top tiers, they can pretty much, Kung Lao can do this. Like, and that's kind of like my take and how I look at, hey, how good is this character? How bad is this character? I go, wait, what can the top tiers, what do the top tiers have in common? What can they do? What issues do they not have? What strengths do they have? Then I look at my character, or I look at the lower tier characters and say, okay, can you do that? No, not at all. Can you do it? Is it not as good, not as well as they do it? What are your weaknesses? What are your issues? So yeah, basically that's how I come to my conclusion that Frost is the worst in the game. There are more examples than this, but this isn't about the specific examples. It's more about the mindset behind them, like what to look for, not just to say, but she has a dive kick, but she has a launcher, but she has, no, bro, I'm looking at things totally differently. So I just wanted to explain that a little bit. So when I say, you know, X character is the worst in the game, this character's trash, this character is good, this character's top tier, just know that it's well researched, well thought out, and I'm just looking at things from a different outlook than the normal, typical NRS player outlook. But anyway, if y'all enjoy the content, please subscribe. I appreciate all y'all. Y'all stay safe and have fun. I'm outie. Peace.